back to my channel. I'm Rachel, the owner and creator here at the Eclectic Cottage in Spokane, Washington. Today is Friday, and for today I have a thrift flip for you guys. I worked on a few projects that I pulled out of my stash and got them all ready for today's video. I hope you like them, and without further ado, let's get to today's projects. So my first project for today is this little picket fence planter box. I have had this in my kitchen for so long that I had filled it with random stuff and just kept moving it from place to place and decided it was really time to get this thing done and out of there. So I'm starting by giving this one good even coat of DIY's Crinoline. I'm painting the inside and the outside, all the little crevices with this Crinoline paint. I also did flip it over and paint the bottom as well. I wanted this to have kind of the look of a white picket fence. Now, once I was done painting this, I realized some of the stains on the wood had bled back through. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to add a little bit of age and patina to this little picket fence by grabbing my weathered wood by DIY and dry brushing some of that on to give this just a little bit of a look of grayed out wood rather than the fresh springy picket fence that I kind of had going on. I also thought this would be a great look for creating a fall vignette or even something for Halloween with that little bit of aged patina to this piece. Now for this piece, I am using a little heavier of a dry brush, which means I'm not really concentrating on trying to get every scrap of paint off of my brush. I did want a little bit more color to this just because, again, I was dealing with that bleed through and staining, and I wanted to really cover that up. And I also wanted to have this piece be more of an all-season piece that I could use for spring, summer, fall, Halloween, and possibly even Christmas. Now, once I was done with my dry brushing, it was time to seal my piece. As you know, DIY paint is porous and does need to be sealed. And for that, I thought the easiest thing to use would be DIY's Big Top. It's a very thin but durable sealer, and I am just painting that on in one good coat. And once that's dry, this little piece will be done. I really love how it came out. I'm excited to fill it, hopefully with some fall florals, maybe some Spanish moss and pumpkins. I think it'll be a great centerpiece. Project 2 are two cute little ceramic owls that I found at the Goodwill not too long ago. And I'm starting off by giving these both a coat of Rustoleum 2X in Espresso. And a couple reasons I like to do this. Number one, I like to have control over the base color of my objects that I'm going to be painting in case I want to do some distressing. That way I know exactly what I'm going to be distressing back to. And also sometimes when you paint and wax a piece, you can accidentally go back to the base of the piece. And this way I know that if that happens, I would be going back to this dark, rich brown color. So then it was on to painting, and for that I chose DIY Skeleton Key for one of the owls and Faded Burlap for the other. And I am stippling or pouncing that paint on with a stiff bristle brush to give it just a little bit of texture. I don't really care for brush stroke marks, and this helps eliminate those. I did go over them with 2 coats of paint, and then I decided rather than distressing, I would do another dry brush technique. So I grabbed a little bit thicker round brush and barely dipped it in the paint, wiped off most of the paint into the can, and then used a paper towel to really dry that brush off and get almost all the rest of the paint off of it. And then I am just going over kind of with a feather light touch starting very small and just kind of working my paint layers up until I'm happy with how dark it is, and just brushing that over all the details in these little owls. I used the same dry brush technique on both of the owls. Unfortunately, I did not get any footage of me doing the little faded burlap owl. And once I was finished and I was happy with how they looked, it was time to seal my paint. And for that, I chose DIY's clear wax. And I'm just going in with my soft bristle brush and putting one good coat of that wax on these owls, and then taking a dry shop towel and very, very lightly, just barely wiping back that excess wax. Now, I do like my distressing, but I love the subtle way that the dry brushing kind of brings out the detail in these owls without the brashiness of the distressing. So I'm interested to see what you guys think. Do you like this better, or do you think they would have looked better if I would have distressed them? Let me know in the comments below. My third and final project is this cute little tin that I picked up not too long ago. I fell in love with the raised detail along the sides, but I really wasn't a fan of the gold and black together on this piece. So I'm starting off by giving this one good coat of Rustoleum 2X spray in Heirloom white, just to help give this a nice solid base to start with. Once that's done and my piece is completely dry again, I'm moving on to painting it. And I really liked the light color on this tin, so I am going in here with two good coats of DIY's Crinoline, which almost exactly matches the Heirloom white. Now, I already knew on this piece that I wanted to use the dry brushing technique to really emphasize that raised detail on the sides. Now you can see here, my first attempt, I did not get all of the paint off of my brush well enough, and you can see I've got some really strong streaks going across there. I ended up having to repaint that portion of this and start again. So my advice here is to always make sure that you really wipe your brush well before you get started. It is definitely better to start with a very light coat of paint and build up from there than accidentally go in with too much paint and have to start all over again by repainting your base color. So I just kept working my way around the tin, feathering a little bit of paint at a time over that raised detail, building up until I was happy with the result, and then moving on to the next section. Dry brushing is a great alternative for bringing out the detail in a piece without having to use colored wax or distressing. Once I'd worked my way around the entire tin, I went ahead and did a little bit of dry brushing to the top of it as well, just to blend it in a little bit better with the sides. Once I'd finished dry brushing the tin, I realized that you could hardly see the legs. They just kind of blended in. So I decided to go ahead and repaint them with some of the layered chocolate paint so they would stand out a little bit better. Once I'd painted all my little legs with a couple coats of the layered chocolate paint, it was finally time to decorate my piece. For that, I chose a transfer set by Redesign with Prima that I've had in my stash for probably a couple years now. And I've been waiting for something to come along to use these wreaths on, and I was so excited to have one that fit this lid perfectly. So I cut it out and placed it onto my lid and then began to apply that transfer down. I'm just using the transfer stick to rub that transfer into my piece while I peel back that piece of vellum, being careful that all of my transfer is adhered before I peel it back too far. Now, if you do end up lifting a piece of your transfer with the vellum, just lay it back down and re-rub that area until that part of it is adhered. Once I had the transfer laid down, I went ahead and burnished it in really well with another piece of that vellum, just to make sure there weren't any air bubbles or wrinkles in my transfer. Then it was finally time to seal my piece, and for that I chose DIY's clear wax. I'm just going over this with one good coat of the clear wax, applying it with my soft bristle brush, and then wiping back that excess very gently with a dry shop towel. Once I was finished applying the wax, my little tin is done, and I absolutely love how this came out. I hope you guys do too. It from here for today, you guys. I hope you liked my projects. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've really been working on trying to get some things done that I can work into my fall vignettes. I really felt so behind a lot of the time last year that I want to get kind of a jump on the season a little bit. So I hope you guys don't mind all the fall themed things, but I also wanted to work on a few things specifically for Halloween this year, and I'm kind of excited for those. And so those are going to have to be kind of worked into the queue as well. I know it's only the first part of July and fall's a ways out there yet, but I really just want to get a jump start this year on my project. So I hope you'll follow along and enjoy all of the fall themed things that are coming your way. And I also can't talk today. I also hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I so appreciate that. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and then just hit that little notification bell so you don't miss anything. And then again, don't forget to drop a comment below and let me know if you had a favorite project today. For Tuesday, it's going to be another thrift flip. It might not be a lot of projects because of course I was gone yesterday on the 4th of July. So, but I already have one completely done and ready to go. So at least there'll be that, and I'm hoping to add a couple more projects to it tomorrow as well. So we'll see how much I get done tomorrow, you guys. Anyway, I hope you'll join me back here on Tuesday, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you Tuesday. Bye.